Are those them 10 boys?
Nope.
Good morning.
Thank you for watching.
10K TV.
All right, everyone, welcome to another 10K TV exclusive interview. I'm journalist Jake alongside Sarge here. We got a very special guest with us today. We have Louie Varland, Minnesota Twins starting pitcher. He is, like we were saying before, Louie, you are the first ever MLB pitcher. MLB player, maybe. Oh, no. Well, we had Walker Jenkins on last week, but he hasn't played in the MLB yet. But you have played, you have pitched in the Major League Baseball for the Minnesota Twins, hometown Twins. So we're happy to have you on. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's it's a great opportunity, and yeah, should be some fun here.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're excited to have you on. And I mean, like before we get into, a lot of the crazier questions we have for you, I do have to ask, and I'm sure you've been asked this a million times, but what was it like being drafted? Not only for an MLB team, that already is awesome within itself. None of us were athletic enough to be drafted in the MLB. I had some time playing baseball, but not only what was it like being drafted in the MLB, but what was it like being drafted by your hometown team? Literally, you grew up in St. Paul. What was it like being drafted by the Minnesota Twins?
I mean, it was a complete dream come true. I mean, I was just looking for an opportunity, just to get drafted. I did a lot of pre-draft workouts here and there. But if I had to pick one team to draft me, it was the Twins, and it just turned out the Twins, drafted me in the 15th round that year. Is just, it's every Minnesota kid's dream.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be so super nerve-wracking. I mean, how many rounds are there in the MLB draft?
I was just about to ask that. 15th round. One of my buddies got drafted in the 18th round, so there's more than 18, right?
Yeah, it's changed the past couple of years. It was around 30, my year. And then COVID year, there's only 5, and then now there's only 20. So it's been changing the past couple of years, I believe.
So this is probably a dumb question. Did you know you're getting drafted, or was that, a pipe dream at that time?
Well, my brother being drafted the year before me did help me out. I did throw hard, considering everything, but I was I went D2, so it wasn't D1. I had one pitch, so it wasn't solidified that I was going to be drafted, but if I had to guess, I had a better chance to get drafted. I just was not expecting I had no expectations on a certain round or anything. It was just kind of I just hope I get drafted in this year's draft, basically. So
wait, what do you mean by one pitch? You
in college, I literally just had a fastball. I had a little.
Wait, what? So you just hucked fastballs. That was it at Concordia.
Yeah, I mean, I threw harder. I threw harder for D2. I was low 90s. I would sit low 90s with a little bit of carry, vertical break. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. It's pitch metric stuff, but those two things are hard to teach, and I had those two qualities. So I think that's why teams like me, even though I only had one pitch.
That's so sick.
Damn.
I had no idea. And then so that obviously we can go back to how it all started, but obviously you've added more on that because I've watched you pitch for the Twins. But that's crazy, just throwing one pitch this whole time. That's wild. That's so cool. Yeah. I never knew that.
Yeah, no, the Twins saw something, or the Twins saw something special in your one pitch in your fastball. It's a special fastball, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It worked out, and so.
Well, speaking of types of pitches, one thing I want to ask, I'm curious about this for all pitchers as well, but for you, is there and you've obviously, like we just mentioned, you've added more pitches to your toolkit, beyond just a fastball, but is there a crazy type of pitch that's maybe not necessarily that you utilize right now, but that you maybe have thrown before for fun, or maybe when you played in college or high school or in a lower league? You hear about this crazy types of pitches like ephus balls or the Euro ball. I mean, did you ever try throwing any of those weird types of pitches?
I've never tried throwing the ephus or the Euro ball. I mean, it's a very extremely hard pitch to do, because you have to slow everything down but try to make it look the same speed to fool the hitters. I honestly I don't know one pitcher in like America that actually throws that pitch. I know in like Japan and those leagues it's more common. Like here and there it's like sprinkled in, but it is a tough pitch to like throw and master.
Yeah, I've seen it like more in like the Korean or Japanese leagues, but it is funny when you do. I've seen it like growing up. You'll watch Sports Center and like there would be just a random pitcher. I forgot who it was, but I remember I was watching Sports Center when I was a kid, and they're like blah 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 through the Evis pitch here, and you're just like it came out of nowhere. And no,
Yeah.
it's like it's just kind of funny. So I was just curious if you ever tried or attempted it, probably for fun even. And there's so many other weird pitches out there. I feel like that or. I feel like there's maybe even more pitches that haven't been invented yet. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Yeah.
That'd be sick. You see it.
So I wanted to kind of go back. Jake and I are the most ADD ones here at 10K, so we're gonna be all over the place, Louie. So just bear with us. But
Yeah, no, it's
so
fine.
I grew up in North St. Paul as well, and I'm just kind of curious. So I grew up right by that whatever dealership off of White Bear Ave.
Yeah.
I'm curious where you grew up.
I
in
grew
that
up
area.
like off Frost Avenue. It's by Aldridge Arena, that hockey
Okay.
center,
Yes.
top of the hill.
Yes. Uh,
I grew up down Frost.
okay. Right on. Right on.
Are you trying to dox him? Are you trying to get like his exact parents' address or something?
I mean,
Like,
I
what the
could
hell?
give it to you, but I don't know if my parents would appreciate that.
no, I'm just
You're like, where did you grow up? Tell me now.
It's funny. No, I was just kind of curious because I saw that. I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I moved to the Hugo area, but that's kind of. I was going to be a polar, right? You were the polars,
Yep. Yeah, I was a Polar.
right on. And then so I also read that you were a football player and wrestler.
Yep.
So my question for you is, who was your favorite WWE wrestler? Because you had to have one, being a wrestler.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was Brock Lesnar. That dude is just a dude.
yeah, dude. He was.
Yeah, I
Oh my
mean,
god.
I used to love Brock. He's the one that got me into wrestling, but it was before his WWE stint, I guess. He wrestled for the Gophers and was
Mhm.
just a stud. And I remember going to the U of M to watch him, and he's really the one that got me into wrestling.
I did. Is it true that he didn't lose or something? Like, I mean, he was just always massive. But
Yes.
I remember watching those matches and like, I would be so intimidated if I was across the mat from him.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was that big in high school. I saw like a recruitment tape on him where he was at this like North Dakota or South Dakota tournament, and it was just this big burly guy named Brock Lesnar. Nobody heard of him. He came out of nowhere and he entered this tournament and just kicked the crap out of these guys, and that's what got him to the U of M. But yeah,
What?
I believe he grew up in South Dakota,
Yeah.
and
Yep. I
and
think
he
so.
joined one of those national like tournaments in North Dakota, South Dakota. But yeah.
How long did you wrestle for? And if you wrestled in high school, how shitty was Christmas and Thanksgiving when you had to cut weight?
Yeah, I wrestled since like first grade to senior year, so I mean my whole life. But yeah, I cut a lot of weight. I didn't do the smartest either, so I was a crabby human being in the winter during wrestling season, especially around Christmas and Thanksgiving, because I had to cut weight, not eat as much, and everybody's just stuffing their face.
Did you like all the wrestlers at Centennial where I went would just be like spitting into like the big jugs and stuff? Were you one of those guys?
Yeah.
What?
I mean,
what?
I did some crazy stuff. I used to like sleep in trash bags, spin the cups. During gym class, I would run on the treadmill instead of go to class because I knew the gym teacher used to be a wrestler too, so he understood it. You know, I would not advise this way about any wrestler that is hearing this. Like I did it wrong. I did the bad way. Like there's a smarter way to do all this where you can still eat and just like watch what you eat. But I didn't eat much, cut a lot of weight and just it was bad.
What's the logic behind the spitting jugs? Is that to like you spit out more
That's why
weight?
I had no idea because it
Exactly.
made no sense.
It's basically water weight that you're trying to
Wow.
like spit out so you're lighter. Like it's like day of. It's like a day of kind of thing. Like you have weigh-ins at 3 o'clock after school, and you're like a pound overweight during the day, and like half a pound you're just gonna like burn energy and get there, but the other half a pound you got to spit in this cup to make weight. So
No laxatives.
no,
No.
that would be extremely unhealthy. Like you would probably die of dehydration at that point.
What's the most weight you ever cut?
Uh my freshman year, I wrestled 106 pounds,
Oh my.
and
Oh.
I would come into practice on Mondays probably weighing 120, 122. And it was like that every week. Monday to Thursday, you would cut 14 pounds, make weight. You're gonna eat a little for that midweek meet, and then you have a tournament on Saturday. So you would eat a little bit Friday practice, burn all that weight off to weigh again Saturday. But then as soon as you weigh in Saturday, you stuff your face, you gain all this weight back, and that gives you the advantage.
Oh, man.
Sunday, you obviously can start your cut process again, but I didn't. I ate on Sunday as well, and did it all again on Monday. So
You just love torturing yourself.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was just a dumb high schooler. There are way smarter ways to go about it, but it did give me the advantage. I was probably the biggest frame in my weight class in the state every year. So
At 106.
Wow.
Oh my
yeah, the freshman. I used to be small. I was a late bloomer, so like I didn't put on like my size or weight till after my senior year. But
How come your ears aren't a cauliflower ear? Because I feel like that is one. It's super badass in my opinion, but I understand why you didn't. But
yeah, I mean, it is kind of a gnarly look, but I always wore my headgear to prevent that because like if you get cauliflower ear and you don't want it, you have to get like it drained, and it's just like a
dude.
trip to the hospital or whatever. But
ugh.
Yeah, it just sounds brutal when I've seen wrestlers have it and others like you think I
don't
always
know.
think it's a rough look, but
To me, it's the you don't want to fuck with me look.
yeah,
yeah, I mean, if you see that guy like at the
Run.
bar or something,
You're right.
and you don't want to get handsy with him.
That's actually my worst nightmare. Is like I'm not going to be getting in any street fights anymore, but it would be to like, run into a wrestler.
What do you mean anymore by the way?
I was a young man at one time and may or may not have. I mean, this is why I have this scar right here. I got punched in the face with my glasses on. Terrible idea.
Wow.
That's not fun. But I don't know. If I was a wrestler, I would have the cauliflower ears, basically what I'm getting at.
You'd
Because
want
I
the
think it's
look.
badass.
It's
But-
a gnarly look. It really is.
I just think it's funny with the going back to the jug thing. I would totally think, and maybe I saw other wrestlers when I was in high school doing that. I just thought they were extremely addicted to chewing tobacco, like chewers, just spitting. Oh yeah, they're chewing, having a good time, but that's nuts.
Yeah.
But
You should talk about baseball, probably.
well, no. So, I was going to ask, like, speaking of like you playing multiple sports and everything. I mean, if you weren't playing baseball, would you want to be pursuing a career? And you played football as well. Would you want to be pursuing a career in that, or would you want to be doing something else? Like, what would you be doing if you weren't playing Major League Baseball?
I was probably not good enough to play football in college at all. Maybe punt. I was a decent punter. Like I played safety. I played the position well for Minnesota high school, which isn't, I'm not sure if it's saying much, but I guess like I took wrestling as my most serious sport all the way through until like my senior year when I started like throwing harder in baseball. And then I just kind of like followed my brother's path to college in the baseball part, but wrestling was like my main focus growing up and everything. So like if I didn't do like baseball, I would probably try to wrestle in college, whether it was probably be at D2 or D3. So
no WWE though.
no WWE, no.
Oh come on, that would be so sick.
Well, you could you could try the WWE track or like a Brock Lesnar and then try out for the Vikings. Play a couple
Yeah,
preseason games.
That's a pretty cool story. I mean, I was never a fan of the WWE. I always thought it was fake. I don't know if it's true or not. Like, they pull punches, fake the slaps and everything, but I was never a fan of it because of that. And I like wrestled the true wrestling sport
Yeah.
rather than the fake WWE. I don't know.
So then the Olympics then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, it would be hard to go to the Olympics if you went like D2, D3. But I'm not sure. I wasn't that good of a wrestler, like roster at the D3 level. So
No, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I never got into wrestling. It's an interesting sport, but I think it takes a whole different breed to get into it. But yeah, now you're into baseball. I did see, and we briefly mentioned, you did play at Concordia St. Paul for the Golden Bears, Division II. I myself actually played, not at Concordia St. Paul, but in a developmental fall ball league in like when I was like a freshman or sophomore year. Might not have been the highest league. I did play on that field back in 2011. So does that mean at some point I will soon be at the major leagues just like you?
Hey, you never know. Are you a hitter or a pitcher or
More of a hitter. More of a hitter.
Okay.
I don't know if I could hit more than I don't know if I could hit a 80 plus mile per hour ball, but you know, I mean, I could get there. You know, I feel like there's magic on that
I believe
field.
in you, man. In my opinion, you look athletic. I think you got it. Why
I look
not?
athletic.
Louis such a nice guy, dude.
Hey, you don't have to be that nice, dude.
I call it like I see it.
Hey, I think maybe we should put it to the test. Maybe at some point we set something up in some off season where we all try to hit a fastball from you or something. I think that'd be hilarious.
I'm in. I don't know if the Twins would like that, but in the past I have done wiffle ball. If you want to challenge me in wiffle ball, I'll take you on.
Okay, I'll try wiffle ball.
You can try to hit it. It's with the blitz ball. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's hydrated movement. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And if I hit one, I can add it to the scouting report to my profile for be an MLB player.
Absolutely,
we got it.
So you mentioned earlier that your brother was drafted as well. Did you guys ever play together? I know there's a little bit of a gap, but I got to imagine the Varlands were kind of a kick-ass duo on the same baseball team.
Yeah, we played varsity in high school together for 2 years, and then we played together 2 years at Concordia St. Paul, actually. So
I should have done some research. God, that was a dumb question. Sorry.
His sophomore and junior year there, I was a freshman and sophomore, so it overlapped a little bit for those 2 years.
Well, I know he also plays in the obviously plays in the majors with you. He plays for the Chicago White Sox, or at least he did this past year, right? So, how did he feel playing for one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball history?
Well, a little more context to that. He was with the Dodgers for the first
right. Okay. So he's not right.
Oh no!
He went from like a really good team to the worst team, and it had some major differences. Like the Dodgers, obviously, you have a lot more pressure. You're pitching between dudes on contracts, like big name guys. Like there's more pressure. You're expected to win, and then he goes over to the White Sox, and you're not expected to win. Everything is more laid back. He, in some regards, he liked playing for the White Sox better because it was less pressure. He could work on stuff. He got a lot more opportunity. Eventually, he worked his way up the leverage roll out of the pen and was pitching big spots for the team. Like he loved it. Yeah.
They could have parties in the dugout during the game. People wouldn't care. No, I'm just joking. But
exactly.
I know what you mean.
Like every game, if they lost, nobody cared because they're expected to lose. But if they won, it was a party in the clubhouse. Awesome.
Like they won, champagne, like they clinched the division. So it's like, it's great. No, I was curious about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right, so I was looking at your MLB page right now, and obviously you've been up and down a little bit. I wanted to ask how June 17th of this year was. So I'm looking at, there was 4 different transactions in one day. So it says that you were sent up, sent down, sent up, sent down, all in one day. Is that true?
I think that's a typo.
Okay.
No, I believe that's a typo because it was probably a doubleheader game. I was brought up for a game and sent down immediately after the game, which is the case on doubleheaders. It's called the 27th man rule. You get like one added dude to the roster that day, but that same guy has to be sent down after the game.
Okay. I was like, what is going on here? This is wild.
But it happening twice has to be a typo, I believe. So
Okay.
Yeah, we were looking at that. We're like, it'd be like a hectic day of like, hey, no, yeah, you're cut. From what it looks like on the site, it's like you're playing. No, we don't need you. Wait, no, yeah, we need you back. No.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, what the hell is going on here? No, but we just had to mention that. But
all right, I have a really dumb question. No. Do you miss hitting?
I do. Yeah, I mean,
or like Rocco, come on, buddy, just let me pinch hit one time.
I promise you, I am not good as anybody in the major league, minor league, or even college level. I was barely a good like high school hitter, but it was very fun back in high school hitting. It really was, especially taking batting practice. Like it was so fun.
So do you not just like, guys, come on, give me your bat. I'm gonna swing a few.
I mean, I jokingly do that all the time, especially in AAA with the hitting coach. I like always grab a bat and taking cuts in the dugout. Say, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready whenever. And it's funny because it actually happened this year where I had an at bat and I was going to swing. I was prepared to like go take cuts, and then right before I walked out there to do an on deck circle, Toby Gardenhire, the manager for the Saints, told me, "Hey, you can't swing. You can't risk like hurting an oblique. You know, it's like a movement I don't train for, so like a risk for injury, of course. So they told me just to stand in the back of the box and strike out and go back to the bench. That's what I did.
They didn't even let you bunt.
No, I know. I really wanted to. I was tempted.
Oh man, see, my intrusive thoughts have been like, dude, I'm fucking swinging.
Yeah.
I wanted to bad. Like my whole plan was I'm hacking. I'm going up there. I'm hacking. I don't care what happens. And but like I was in AAA. I want to pitch in the bigs again, so like I have to listen to them. So
You do, but then again, you don't, and you make a great story out of it and hit a home run into
Right.
the near the beer garden and CHS field. Everyone's happy, everyone's excited. So
yeah, you
That's
know,
good.
like if I went up there and hit a home run, you never know. It could be, flirting with like Shohei Ohtani comparisons. You really.
I was gonna say if Shohei can do it, I would have told Toby, be like, hey, look what Shohei's doing. There's no other guy in the league that is even competing against that guy. Let me be the guy.
Exactly. Let's put some pressure on him.
Yeah, seriously, Louie's the guy. I like we can get it going here. No, I love that. One thing I wanted to ask though, as a major league pitcher now, you're throwing 90 plus miles per hour, and then when they swing and hit the ball, I mean the exit velo, the exit velocity can be even greater, right?
Oh yeah.
That's the term the kids use now is velo, right? I mean, that's what they use in beer league softball. The velo is heavy off that bat. But anyway, I mean, when did you or maybe you never have, did you get over the fear of getting absolutely smoked on the mound after a pitch? Like you're wearing no protective gear. Like, have you ever got over that? Did you ever get over that? Do you think about that? Like, what is your thoughts on that?
I've for sure had my fair share of comebackers hit me. I pride myself on still making the play and getting the out and finding the ball and throwing the out at first. Nothing like major injury has happened off that. But I'm out there, I'm like in the zone, tunnel vision. I never think of like a comebacker coming. Like it rarely happens. It really does.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I got another question for a pitcher. So, obviously, there's a bunch of new technology. I'm so curious to hear about the earpiece. Like, what do you hear in that? Is that from the bench? Is that from the catcher? I need to know.
Yeah, it's a wireless device you put in like the little flapper on the inside of your hat, and you cut a little slit and a little like microphone like sticks down right next to your ear, and the catcher has their device and they're calling the pitches with buttons, and it's a pitch, it's a location, it's like a pickout play, and it's like an automated voice, kind of like Siri or like those other voices. So it just says fastball high or like curveball down, like it's kind of like that.
Do you have like a British accent like Siri does?
It's not British, there's no accent. It's just American accent. So yeah, it's just,
So it's not your catcher's voice that's pre-recorded?
no. I mean, it would be pretty. Actually, we have a pitch called Sniper, which is a down and away fastball, and it's our bullpen coach. It's a recording of him going Sniper, and like, it's the one that was actually recorded. So, when the catcher calls that, it always throws me off because it's like a different sound than the automated voice.
So follow up to that, like is that like where's the remote control the catcher has? Like I watched a ton of Twins games, and I'm definitely going to be looking now.
Yeah, it's normally on like their knee, on like their shin guard, but on their knee, it's velcroed on there. It'll be hard to see because when they call the pitch, they cover it with their glove as well, so the batter doesn't like peek down and know what's coming. So it's covered when they call it, and then it kind of just looks like a part of his gear.
Okay.
Covering. So
Are there different like colors on that thing, or like is it just Or
It,
you have to switch it up? Like I know baseball, everyone covers their mouth, which I always think is so funny. But
yeah.
you know,
Uh, it's always black that I've seen, and it's always the color black. So
okay,
yeah,
right on.
it's kind of standard for the home and away team every series and everything. So
Yeah, I was always curious about when they went to that because like it kind of came up. That technology kind of came up quick because I noticed that catchers weren't using the finger signals anymore, and obviously you probably had a fair share of experiences with still utilizing finger signals, right, from the catchers. So, I mean, do you just flat out prefer the voices and in ear, vocalization of the pitch, or do you like the old school way of the catchers like just giving you hand signals?
there's pros and cons. I do like the pitch comm in my ear, but the only problem is when like if it's like a bad battery and it goes dead, you have to resort back to the fingers. But then you have to like let the ump know that like it's not working or whatever. And I know some pitchers do that to give themselves more of a break. Then the catcher and umpire walk out there. They can talk about the next pitch or what they're thinking, even though it does work. So like people can like sabotage it a little bit. But on the other point, with the with the pitch timer, like it takes a lot longer to click the right pitch, uh, especially when the clock's ticking down. Like you have like 4 seconds left, and you keep shaking. You want this certain pitch, but you can't find it. With fingers, it's a lot quicker in that regard. So there's
So
pros and cons to it.
yeah, piggybacking off that, the pitch clock. I, as a fan, loved it. What is the overall consensus with pitchers? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Because I know like old White Sox pitcher Mark Burley used to pitch in like 4 seconds every single time. But
Right.
part of me in this playoffs watching it would have been nice to see some gamesmanship, slowing down the game a little bit. I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts are on the pitch clock.
Yeah. The overall consensus, I don't think most pitchers love it. I personally don't mind it. I like it, like anything to speed up the game. I am like a proponent of that. I naturally worked fast as well though, so I'm like pitching the ball with like 8 seconds left when most pitchers are pitching the ball with like 4, 3, or 2. So I hit it right in stride. Like I had to make no adjustment, but I do know like a lot of pitchers like taking their time, rubbing the ball, thinking about the next pitch instead of being like rushed.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you don't prefer like no pitch clock, having like the pitchers did back in the days of the Metrodome, really expanding the game, really trying to extend the game so guys could hammer more beers, go to the old troughs in the bathrooms at the Metrodome. I think the guys back in the day did the dudes and by a lot of people didn't mind not having a pitch clock so they could spend more time in the Metrodome bathrooms dealing with the troughs. So
In the troughs, I remember that.
how would you have? Yeah, no, go ahead.
And then leaving the place too, the iconic wind that was pushing you out.
Amazing.
I'll always remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing. Target Field is a great ballpark. Don't get me wrong, beautiful, but there's nothing that will quite compare to you getting like stormed out or
Right.
swooped out by like what
Losing
felt
your,
like
and losing your hat and like the cups that you're carrying or whatever. Yeah.
an unseen forest after coming out after a 4.5 hour, sometimes 5 hour baseball game. Hey, it was the best. But now you have the pitch clock, a little slower, less time in the bathroom, but that's okay. We can get out. But I did want to ask, a lot of the pitchers like yourself, starting pitchers, relief pitchers, obviously, I think pitching a little more often than starting pitchers. But sometimes you're not pitching for like 5 or 6 games. Sometimes if you're a starting pitcher in the rotation, so you're sitting in the bullpen. A lot of the time. I mean, is there anything you guys do to pass the time? When you're sitting there between games, because you can't tell me you're watching the entire games every single game. I mean, is there something you guys do kind of like maybe not like a drinking game because you can't obviously drink, but is there like little games or little things you do to pass the time in the bullpen?
It's mostly just conversation, but I will say like the best pitchers will watch like pretty much every single game and scout and do their research and notice things. But I'm kind of like scatterbrained a little bit. I get bored, so I
I can
personally like
relate.
yeah. I mean I'm talking like the other pitchers. I'm messing with people, throwing seeds, this and that. But there's a couple of games that you just make up, whether it's like betting on like the result of this next pitch, what's going to happen, or it's just kind of whatever. But like every year over the course of the year, you probably go through 20, 25 games that you just make up just to like kill some time, and,
Like,
and
hey, let's
get through it.
spit this seed into this circle type of thing. Is that what you're talking about? Or
Yeah,
like,
I mean
yeah.
that and cups and and the gum wrappers, you can fold them in like this dart, and we launch them out on the field and see if we can get it to the pitcher's mound
Oh, nice.
Wait.
It's
From are you
from the
talking? So,
dugout.
oh, okay. I was gonna
Yeah,
say from
it's from the
from the
dugout, and
bolt.
we can launch them. And Chris Williams in AAA, he's the best at it. He always gets it damn near to the dirt of the pitcher's mound.
Is it so? Is it like a two-handed thing, or is it like an
Yeah,
actual dart? Like, what's the?
it looks like a little paper airplane, but it's more so like a dart, and you fold it to where like the tip of it's heavier and like spreads out with like it spreads out a little bit. But the technique to throw it is either with like in between your finger, you launch it like that, or like your thumb as well, and go that way.
Damn.
It reminds me of. Did you ever play the game Quarters, where you'd like,
Yes, I absolutely hated it.
God, why I don't? Why did we do that as
Blow
young
your
men?
knuckles.
What was that about? I'll never forget that. I remember always hating playing that game, but at like Applebee's during high school, for whatever reason, just
I
going
used to do
there.
it in middle school. It did not make sense to me. I hated playing it, but I would because I had to try to be the tough guy.
Yeah, I, Louis, I can relate to that so much. Like, I'm super tough, but like really, I'm like crying inside. I'm like, oh, what are we doing? It's so stupid.
Your hand is bleeding down there.
Yeah, seriously.
So dumb.
So I recently on Twitter I saw this thing about Greg Maddux about having a scuff ball really helped his pitches. Is what can you explain to me and the rest of our audience like why a scuff ball is awesome for pitching?
Yeah. So scuff balls, it's like it's a rougher ball on one side, so it's like more surface area that sticks out to catch like the particles through the air, so it like moves more. It basically promotes more movement,
Okay.
especially with like breaking pitches or a changeup.
Okay, so then has there ever been a time where your catcher throws the ball and you're like, dude, what are you doing? That was my ball.
Yes, actually, especially like if there's like a foul ball off the batter that hits like his pine tar on like the handle, and like your first baseman or third baseman gets it, you always want him to throw it back to you because somewhere on that ball is going to be a little pine tar that you can use, which I'm not, it's probably illegal to do, and they probably want you to take it out of the game. But if it ever stays in play, you always like use it.
It's like, hey, yeah, bring that back.
Yeah, bring that back. Hey, it's not my pine tar.
Right? Yeah, it's not mine. It wasn't mine doing. It's the hitter. So
Loophole. You got to be careful, Louis. Now we just kind of outed you. Now every game the umps are going to have to do that check where they look like they're shipping you down like at the airport.
and they can. I have nothing to hide.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I've just seen those crazy things like Sergio Romo a couple years ago
Yeah,
where
he just takes off his pants.
he's like, see, look, like, I assume you've probably never been. I mean, I know they check every game, briefly, but I don't think you've ever been like patted down to that extent, have you? By umps or any suspicion?
Yeah, I mean, like as a starting pitcher for sure. Like randomly as you leave like an inning to go back to your dugout, take your hat off. They check the belt. They touch both hands. They take your glove. It's a whole process for them.
And they're trying to make the game, so no one's cheating. I totally get that. But one thing I wanted to do with you is it would be easier to ask like, hey, what's your favorite pitch? What's your favorite kind of pitch? And it might be obvious, but I want to we've done like something we called like blind ranking. I don't know if you've seen those types of videos where people blind rank things. I want to, being your MLB pitcher enthusiast and into pitching and probably have a stronger opinion on types of pitches like us. I want you to blind rank 5 types of pitches, if that's if you're willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty broad. Are we going like the best version of this pitch? Like let's say a Pedro Martinez changeup, a Nolan Ryan fastball. There's just like
I would say like the specific type of pitch. Like we're talking. I mean we'll get into it, but like it's So you'll blind rank these pitches 1 through 5. I'll give you one, you'll rank it, and we'll go on to the next one. All right. So the first pitch, just the standard changeup.
I'm gonna put that at number 3.
Number 3. Okay, I think that's good.
Or, yeah. So I know there's like a curveball coming, some crazy pitch you got up your sleeve. So
You know how it works then. Okay. All right. Maybe. I'm not admitting to it yet. I'm just saying. You're just being smart. All right. The next pitch is we have the knuckleball.
ooh, I want to put it 1, but there might be a crazier pitch that's only like pitch number 2. So I'm gonna put it on the number 2 spot.
Okay. All right. I like that. All right. Number 3, four-seam fastball. The
I'm
traditional.
gonna put that at 5. It's boring. Every single hitter can hit a 4-seam fastball.
All right. Number 4, we have the slider.
Ooh. I should have put knuckleball at number 1, but I'm gonna put that at number 4.
Okay. All right. This
I'm
is
stuck with number 1.
so this is your number 1, a 12-6 curve.
Oh yeah,
12-6 curveball.
a Clayton Kershaw curveball. That's number 1 for sure.
Yeah. And I think Joe Nathan, I think that was up in his toolbox as well. I think he had like a 12-6 curve or circle. 12-6 curveball. So I don't know I don't know if like, what are your primary pitches that you utilize in during a game?
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of throw everything. As a starter, I have 5 pitches, but as a reliever, I mainly only use like 2 or 3. But I throw my 4-seam fastball the most. I throw my cutter the second most, and then it's a toss up between my changeup and like a curveball. It's kind of like a curveball slider hybrid. So it's kind of like it's not a sweeper, but like a slutter basically. But it is like more of a slider. And then my last pitch is a 2-seam that I use like 4% of the time, I'd say.
Did you say
a
slutter?
Yes,
I-
it's like a slider cutter hybrid.
Okay. That might be my favorite pitch.
That's
Or like a slider cutter hybrid's a slider curveball hybrid's like a slurve, and there's also a sweeper that it's all kind of,
All right.
broad.
So you mentioned as a starter, use 5 pitches, reliever 3. What's the reasoning behind that?
So as a starter, you're seeing guys 3-4 times through the lineup. They'll have like an idea of idea of what you're trying to throw, but like the first 2 or 3 times through the lineup, if you can like get them out with like only using 2 or 3 pitches, that last time when they're most comfy seeing you, they've seen you like 3-4 times already, then you start throwing these pitches they haven't seen yet that day. It gives you the advantage. Like a perfect start, you would throw like 1 or 2 pitches the first time through, 1 or 2 or maybe 3 pitches the second time through, and then that third and fourth time through, you can like throw brand new pitches, throw all 5 pitches and keep them out. And as a reliever, you're normally out there for 1-2 innings. You're seeing like these guys one time that day, so you throw your best pitches, like straight up just your best pitches. It's kind of like me coming at you with my best stuff, try to hit it.
nice.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to bring up. Well, speaking of just going back to pitching, I mean, I don't know what you seem like a very, calm. You have a very calm demeanor when you're up there pitching and everything. And I know it's the idea of players getting angry. It's not very often as you see it, or players rushing the mound or anything. But you hear stories of pitchers, beating players and maybe kind of doing it on purpose. I don't know if you've ever had an instance or if there's a player that has kind of grinded your gears a little bit where, I don't know, has there ever been a time where you're close to or wanted to beat a player?
It's never happened to me. I was always one to say like I would rather strike him out. That's more.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's the right
more
way.
embarrassing for him. There was an instance a couple years ago in AAA. The other team were hitting our guys, not on purpose, just on accident, but it was like 6, 7, 8 times. And all the hitters were like, dude, what the hell? Like, we need to retaliate. I was starting pitcher that day, so everybody's like on me to like do it back. And I wasn't sure if I was willing to do it to have my guys back, but I knew it wasn't on purpose. So then I went up to the manager and asked him like, hey, like, should I throw back at him? And he said no. So I never did, but then to this day, all these hitters keep reminding me of like me not having their back.
Oh.
It's yeah.
No, you took the high road.
It never happened to me though. Like purposely hitting a guy. But yeah.
But you got that wrestling background, so maybe you kind of want to, throw at someone and be like, hey, try me one time.
If they rush
Wait
the
for
mound,
this.
you're ready, Louie. You're ready.
Yeah, I mean, I have like thrown up and into guys to get them off the plate if they're like looking too comfy, but like I never hit them. But with the wrestling background, I always say I can wrestle, but I've never like been in a fight before, so I don't know if I can fight. But if somebody ever charges the mound, I'm gonna get like a wrestling chance and try to just grapple them, I guess.
People are gonna know that you're a
yeah.
wrestler.
Absolutely.
Also, like, going back to that game though, where that your players wanted to quote unquote have their backs. I think what you could have just did is just go home, turn on MLB The Show, play as the Saints and play as the opponent you're playing, and just beat every player in the video game and take out the aggression that way.
That would also work. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I love that. That's a great story. Would love to hear it.
What's it like striking someone out in the MLB? It's got to be so sick.
Yeah, I do have like a decent list of players I struck out.
Oh, let's go through them. Let's go through them, man.
It's a great feeling. Well, my first major league strikeout was Aaron Judge, his MVP.
What's up?
I mean, and I couldn't have written it better that year. That was unbelievable. I struck out Shohei Ohtani a couple times. Mike Trout. I got Ronald Acuna in spring training. I got Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts. I got Matt Olson in spring training. I haven't struck out Juan Soto. I do want that one. Those are like the top guys off the top of my head. I know there's more, but that is a decent list, though.
I was gonna say, like, I remember your first career strikeout. I think I was watching the game or saw the highlight right after when you struck out Aaron Judge, your first ever career strikeout. And I'm like, hang that shit in the booth. That's great, dude. Like, you had to be absolutely stoked for that, dude. That had to be like incredible at Yankee Stadium too, right?
At Yankee Stadium, yeah.
Wow, man.
It was nuts.
That's sick.
So obviously it's NFL season now, and you see a lot of jersey swaps. Like, how come I don't see a lot of jersey swaps in the MLB? Or like, am I just not on the right part of Twitter? Like,
I don't see a lot either. It does happen though, but it mostly happens like behind the scenes in the clubhouse.
Oh, okay.
Like away series, you would tell the clubby to go buy like a jersey from the team store, and he'll bring it down to you, and you'll ask him to bring over to the other clubhouse, have him sign it, and tell them that like it's me sending this over to sign. That happens quite a lot. Whether it's based on the jersey and stuff like that. But I don't think jersey swaps are that common. Just because I guess I'm not really sure why, but there's a lot of like players asking for like autograph stuff.
Are you gonna do a jersey swap with your brother?
Yes, it's happening. It's happening Friday actually. I'm seeing him on Friday. So.
Oh, right on. So, wait, what's going on Friday? Is there like a game or something,
scrimmage.
or just like?
No. He's staying in Chicago. I'm going to Chicago for a wedding. It's actually Matt Canarino's wedding. He's also a Twins pitcher. But yeah, I'm going to a wedding. I'm staying at his apartment though with him and his fiance. Me and my fiance are going down there, and I'm taking my jersey down there. He has one ready, and we're just gonna swap and sign it, and I'll come home with his jersey.
So, is your brother a starter or reliever, or like was he?
He was a starter in the minor leagues, but he's been a reliever in the major leagues the past couple of years.
So it's. If he stays with the White Sox, are you gonna be like Rocco? And he's pitching like Rocco. You got to put me in. Like we're gonna go at it right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Varland. Yeah.
I mean, this next year I can already see it because I mean it's in the division. We play the White Sox a lot, and he'll be in that bullpen, almost likely be in the Twins bullpen, and it's gonna happen. I just know it is.
I don't know what the whole layout of Guaranteed Rate Field is. And by the way, I saw in your bio that's your favorite opposing place to play. Is that correct?
I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. I was there. Well, I said that after the 2022 season. It was just really cool. Like it's away from the cities. There's no buildings you can see. It's literally just a black sky and a baseball field. And I like it wasn't packed, so like in that regards it wasn't cool, but like it's like newer. It looks cool. It had like a cool feeling.
So, Louie, fun fact, I lived in Chicago for a year after college. If you go in a 2-block radius outside of that field, it's not that cool.
Yes. Well,
It's so
pretty rough,
scary.
right? Yeah, especially after dark, after games. I've heard all those stories.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I would carry a backpack everywhere because I just, it takes a while to get anywhere, and you never know what you're gonna need. And I went and got a Red Bull. Just I couldn't find a bodega or anything, so I end up just walking just straight for a while. Go into this place, this gas station. There's bars on the windows, and this guy, the cashier's like, "Dude, what are you doing here?" I'm like, What do you mean? He's like, dude, get out of here. Like, you're in the wrong part of town. I'm just like, oh, okay. Got my Red Bull, just booked it right out of there. I was like, damn. Just a stupid suburban Minnesota boy, just not knowing any better.
Happy-go-lucky. I'm going to go to the store.
Yeah, I wanted to go down there because I'm a huge baseball fan. Wrigley is not nearly as cool as I thought it would be because I live kind of by Wrigley. And I'm like, I am going down there. Went down there one day. It was awesome. And then, yeah, like I said, just decided to do some exploring. That was not the play. Not smart.
Hey, I do have to say, though, my new favorite park, though, is Fenway.
Yeah.
Okay.
That place is just incredible. With like the Green Monster, there's signatures everywhere. There's so much history. Yeah.
What do you mean signatures everywhere?
So in the Green Monster, past and current players sign like inside the Green Monster, like their signature. There's thousands of signatures.
Oh, sick. I mean, I'm assuming you put your name on there, right? You had
Yeah,
to.
I did. I went in there. I searched around for like 15 minutes. I found my brother's and signed right next to his.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
I took a picture of it. Yeah, I had to. So.
And was it just like open space that you can like how did you decide? I mean, sorry. How did he decide where he was going to sign it? Just anywhere you could find, or was he looking for a certain guy?
I'm not sure why he signed it there. I think it was just like an open spot. It's kind of it's crowded with signatures. They're literally all over the place. It's tradition. Like your first time to Fenway, you go out to the Green Monster to sign the wall.
Wow.
So it's been like a tradition forever.
We're gonna find a way to get our signatures
Yeah,
up there.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
We're gonna sneak in. We're gonna travel the next road trip to Boston, the Twins road trip to Boston. We're gonna sneak down there. Louie, we got a connection to you now, so maybe you just say,
I'll take you on the field and get you down. Absolutely.
yeah, they're the two new call ups. And we just walk out there like what? Like, no, that would be great. I'm curious though, like, it's probably hard, obviously, throughout the entire season. But do any of like the players, are they able to, or do any of them go out and explore the towns a little bit when you're on those road trips, or is that probably just too difficult when you just have games back to back to back?
It is difficult. I always do it though.
Yeah.
I know others do it as well. Like every road trip, like away trip, I always find time in the morning when I get my breakfast. I'm gonna walk around, explore city just to experience it. You know, in my opinion, it's better to be out like in the city exploring rather than just cooped up in the hotel room, doing nothing. So I've always done that, and I absolutely love it. Like I've been to the cities, but also like explored them. So
That's sweet. No, I would be doing the same thing. I'm curious. This is probably a little out of pocket question, but we've talked to some NHLers, and NHL is probably a little more possible to do it because you have days between games. But we've talked to some NHLers. Players will go out and they'll get plastered and play hungover the next day, and they call it playing guilty because it's a bit of a reset. I don't know if there's players that do that. I'm sure there are some players that do that. I don't think you do that, but I just don't know if that exists anywhere in the MLB.
yeah, in the MLB, it's really like the old school guys that they did that all the time. I've heard all the stories. It's not that common anymore, especially because it's like you play every day, like hockey. You have a day in between.
Yeah.
But my fiance's younger brother played for the Olympics, so I have like the taste of like the hockey, and I don't know what it is about the sport, but they all are just boozers. Like in my opinion, what I've noticed, they all like party and drink, and during the season, outside the season, it's kind of crazy.
Well, it's funny too, because and I'm sure you're probably a Wild fan and familiar with a lot of those players on the team, and I forgot where we heard it, but I swear we just heard a story of Jake Middleton going up to one of the club levels after a game when the fans were leaving and everyone was gone, and he asked for just like 2 McUltras or 2 McGoldens, just straight up.
I can for sure see that from him.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally, but I've heard stories of people that know him, and just seeing like his interviews, he just seems like that kind of guy.
Yeah, and I think that just encapsulates the hockey guy, right? But I feel like there's guys like that in the MLB that maybe don't do that, but have the personality and like that, like some of those hockey guys that would definitely do that if they could.
There's for sure teammates and players that like have a couple drinks like after the game.
Yeah.
You know, and that happens, but like it's slowly been declining. Like those numbers have been declining with the players doing it. So
Are you saying baseball's getting lame? Is that what you're saying, Louie?
No.
we're all getting soft. Yeah, we're all taking our diets too seriously.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen the Daryl Strawberry like stuff, ESPN, like 30 for 30, or like what they used to
I've
do?
never seen
Okay, well, they used to
Yeah.
do a lot of just crazy shit, like snort cocaine before the games.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man,
Bring women in
Before the
between
game?
before the game, then bring women in between innings,
Jeez.
do their thing, and then go back out and hit like 2 for 3 with a couple of homers.
Yeah, we
they're
don't
just bionicles. That's incredible.
Well, there's one guy. There's a Netflix special that pitched on acid.
Yeah, I heard that it was like LSD, and he pitched like a perfect game or no hitter or something back. in
It was
the day.
I think it was a perfect game. Like I couldn't even imagine that.
Yes, that's just ridiculous.
No, that not going to see that with the extended testing now, but
That's just straight grit right there. You know, that's like you got to be different.
Well, he was saying like the ball was like as big as a beach ball at one time, so he's like looking at it, and it's just this huge thing.
You know?
there's so much mass with this.
Yeah.
This game is so easy. No.
So being a professional athlete in a city that has 4 professional teams, like do you guys like hang out like as athletes? I've always been curious about that. Like you mentioned, like you're not surprised that Middleton might have a couple beers, you know, type of thing. Like,
Not really. I mean, I'm kind of newer to like the professional like sports, I guess, industry, but I'm not sure if it's that common, to be honest with you. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's all I got. I wish I had more, but that's just my own experience, I guess.
No, you're going to become buddies with Byron Buxton eventually, and Carlos Correa, and all the guys you struck out. You know, you'll eventually become buddies with. And
Right.
I was saying, going back to the, you know, you're talking about all the guys you've struck out, and you're kind of like creating a list. It's like, you know, speaking of the wrestling bit, you could be like, whenever you strike out somebody, you can pull the Chris Jericho and just be like, "You just made the list."
That is funny. I might have to start doing that. I might have to like keep a list in my locker, you know, and rank them.
and then right next to the list, you just have a picture of Chris Jericho, just like
Yeah.
you just made the list. Maybe make a social media bit out of it too.
So obviously you grew up here. I'm assuming you were a Twins fan, correct?
No.
Yes, I was.
All right, list top 5 Twins of all time for you.
Joe Mauer, Justin Morneau. I was always like a big fan of them. Joe Nathan, Johan Santana, and Brad Radke.
Brad Radke. Why not Eddie Gordado? Everyday Eddie?
There's 5 spots. There's plenty of players.
I
but,
know.
Kirby Puckett should be on that list too. Like, who am I kidding?
Yeah, but we didn't grow up watching Kirby too much.
Well, we saw highlights, bro.
Dude, he was so sick. I actually, my neighbors down the street are Joe Mauer's, Joe Mauer's godparents. So I've met Joe a few times. I met him before he got drafted, and then later on, they used to buy all their cars from his brother's dealership and stuff. But I've met him a few times, and it was super cool. I think he hated being there the whole time because I just would not leave him alone because I was really into baseball at that time. I was like, "Hey, Joe, like, how do you?" Yes, 100%. You know, just asking him a bunch of questions, and I'm sure he was forced to be there. He's like, "God damn it! Like, I gotta deal with these."
I'll tell you what. I've talked to Joe a couple times. He's just the nicest.
The nicest guy ever.
I doubt you bugged him at all. To be honest with you, like he's used to it. He loves it. It's him representing the state, like the Twins and everything. And he's the nicest human being ever.
Yeah, my dad told me, he's like, "Don't ask for anything signed." I was like, "You sure? You sure I can't?" He's like,
And
"No."
that was the first thing you asked him. No, I'm joking.
I thought about it, dude, and I was thinking like, what could I have him signed like on me at the time?
Your face.
Yeah,
It's
seriously.
funny you say that because I've heard that too. Like, don't ask Joe to sign some stuff. People say no. Like as of now, he doesn't really sign much anymore, I guess. But at Twins Fest, I brought his rookie card. My grandpa had his rookie card. I brought it. I finally like mustered up the confidence to go and ask him, and I had him sign it. I actually got his rookie card signed.
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Dude.
Do you since Justin's kind of like announcing the games, do you get to talk to him a lot at all?
Oh yeah, yep. He actually helps me out a lot, especially like in like the interviews side of it, and some like pitching approaches stuff as well. Yeah,
Like, what do you mean, like pitching approaches, like from a batter's perspective? I'm assuming.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Morneau would be like the best guy for that. I mean, the guy just absolutely crushed the balls and literally just destroyed pitchers.
God, he was awesome, dude.
So
And he loves being around the game. He loves helping out. So like he's perfect for that. Yeah.
well, I was gonna say, we're talking about Joe Mauer. We're missing another legendary twin that was named Joe that I watched growing up that I loved for whatever reason. Joe Mays. Remember Joe Mays?
I have his bobblehead, the mini bobblehead.
You talk about the most random, like, I think he might have just been relief pitching or starting pitching in the first ever Twins game I went to, but I had a poster in my room of Joe Mays from like 2002 until like I moved out of my parents' house. It was like from Cub Foods or something. It was torn up.
That's really funny.
It was great, but I don't know why. I just like Joe Mays, but yeah. But no, I wanted to ask too, some of these bullpens, like you notice at Target Field, are, they're tucked up right next to like the crowd. Some of them are. I know some bullpens and some opposing stadiums are maybe a little further away from the crowd or more covered. But have you ever been like at any of the opposing teams' ballparks? Have you ever been chirped by fans while just sitting in the bullpen if they're like easily seen or easily right next to the crowd?
Absolutely. The two worst ones are Yankee Stadium and Fenway. Yeah. They're literally on top of you. On top of you. And especially at Yankee Stadium, we call them the bleacher creatures. They're just and they do their research. There's nothing off limits. There's, siblings, friend of a friend, your high school, there's nothing off limits, and they'll let you hear it. It's honestly really funny. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I remember my debut, they were chirping me and I'm laughing in like my pregame pen, but I couldn't help it because they're like, it was pretty creative. It really was.
Do you have an example?
Something yeah.
I had some like neck hair. They're like chirping me for my neck hair, like on my debut, like, hey man, you have to shave that neck hair. You look like whatever. Yeah. And then they, I mean, the classic one, they always burn my brother. They always tell me like my brother's a better pitcher, this and that, and try to go underneath my skin, and
Well, is he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So they're right.
The best pitcher I know. That dude is an absolute stud.
No, that's great though. The bleacher creatures, that's the best, and I feel like that does make sense. That feels like that would be the spot, the stadium where you would get the most shit from fans. Just Boston, New York.
Extremely passionate. They really are.
Yeah, I'm just glad. I'm just hoping. Well, I've always like in Target Field, we've kind of looked down into the bullpen and everything, and I'm always sitting there like I'm usually Minnesotans are pretty nice. We're not chirping. I think the only person I actually ever chirped, and it wasn't really a chirp, was who is that pitcher that we had a couple years ago? Jack, remember like when we were there? Who the hell was that? I was just yelling his name. He got traded a couple years ago. He was here forever. A relief pitcher. I can't think of his name.
Matt Capps?
No, not Matt Capps. It was what the hell was his name? You would definitely know him, Louie. I'm just trying to remember. He was a relief pitcher. He was here forever.
He went to the Rockies.
He went to the Rockies. What the hell was his name? It's a known. Well, no, he was here forever, and had his ups and downs. What was his name? You can look up like 2022 Minnesota Twins pitchers. Honestly,
Keep going, I'll find it.
yeah, he'll keep finding it. But anyway, I just remember. I wasn't chirping him. I was just kind of talking to him and yelling at him like, that is so easy. How who was it?
Colome.
No, it wasn't Colome.
Sure?
It wasn't Colome. It was
like
he was here for a while. 22 Minnesota Twins roster or pitchers.
Trevor May.
No. I don't even know if it was Trevor May.
It could have been Trevor May, but he never went to the Rockies, I don't think.
No, it's why can't I think of his name? 22 pitching. Anyway, well, we tried to. It wasn't Trevor May. Tyler Duffy. It was Tyler Duffy.
Hockey helmet.
Yeah. I had the hockey helmet. I was at a Twins game with the damn hockey helmet, and I'm like, what was I yelling? I was just yelling like Tyler Duffy, and then he looks up, and he sees me wearing a hockey helmet, and he just starts laughing, and it was such a bizarre thing, but it made me realize how like easy it is to just yell at these guys. And I remember we were overlooking the opposing team. I forgot where we were playing that game, but the opposing team's dugout. And I'm like, someone could just chuck something down here. Someone could spit down here at the players or just throw something. So it's like, I feel like New York or Boston, those guys would just get, I don't know if they've ever thrown anything into the dugout, but I feel like it's so easy.
I don't think they have, but there is like security and like ushers there to help prevent that. So it's frowned upon. I believe you get kicked out and banned from the stadium if that happens. So there's a consequence to it.
Well, if it's a big game, it might be worth it for one of us to step up and do that.
Hey,
I mean, be a team player.
We get enough Bamba juices in us from that Grey Duck deck in left field. Someone might, I don't know.
So speaking of us being fans, what could we do at Target Field to give us more of an advantage for you guys? Because we can chirp.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, we always love it when there's butts in the seats and everybody's cheering and loud. It's known. It's a little more casual at Target Field, but that's probably because it's not like sold out every time. But like more people at the games and cheering a little louder. I mean,
and
all I can say, I guess.
well, we can get to CHS and have a good time too. But also, dollar beer night. Target Field needs to do a dollar beer night.
Seriously,
we'll see. That would get brutal, but
that would rally the troops. That'd get people there.
Or I have another suggestion to improve the experience of games.
I love this.
Play more Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yes,
I love Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah,
Snow is my favorite song.
What is it?
Snow, Hey Ho.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we
That
read
riff,
Red Hot Chili Peppers is my favorite band of all time. Literally, I started playing bass guitar because of Flea. I have every single one of their albums on CD. I listen to them almost every single day. I learned, at one time I could play Snow on the guitar. I can't right now because that shit took forever. But so you said Snow's your favorite song. Is Stadium Arcadium your favorite album by them?
Yeah.
Great album. I was in 2006 at the XL. I went to that concert. I've seen them 4 times now. Don't see them at US Bank though.
Unless you're near the stage.
US Bank is actually the worst place to see a concert of all time.
It's too big, right? It's vast.
Okay, so I was inebriated at this concert. However, the acoustics are so bad, you're hearing it double, and I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. It was awful. And they were still sick, but I would only go see them either at the X or Target Center. US Bank, I'm never going to another concert again. I've been to a few, and I'm like, every single time, I'm like, why the fuck am I here? I knew this was going to be bad.
Yeah.
Well, I saw them at I was at that same one, but I was close to the stage, so it wasn't as bad. But I saw them at the Yacht Club Festival in St. Paul here last summer when they were here. That was badass. That was super fun.
Have you ever seen them?
No, not in person. I want to.
You have to.
They're always here during the summer, but you're playing baseball.
Exactly. I miss so many concerts and fun things in the summer because it's right in the middle of the baseball season.
What's one of the things that you miss the most? Do you miss like being on the lake, or what's obviously you're all
It's the
busy.
late days. It's the late days for sure.
What lake were you mostly on as growing up? I'm assuming White Bear.
Yeah, I was on the east side: Bald Eagle, White Bear, Olson Lake, DeMonterville. It's those ones, and Jarvis is.
Jarvis.
36 there, yeah.
I hate Bald Eagle so much. I'm a big
so
muskie fisherman, and there's just 10,000 muskie fishermen every single time I'm there.
Yeah,
it's like, get off my spot, buddy.
It's so much pressure. So much pressure. I actually caught one on Jarvis a couple years ago.
Yeah.
A muskie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's muskie there.
They got him in there.
Oh, no shit.
I actually grew up fishing there a lot because my cousins grew up in White Bear, and we would go to Jarvis, and we would get in a little bit of the walleye fishing out there. But we would always see, once in a while, we'd see Ron Gardenhire out there on his pontoon because he lived out there. So
Yep, he lived on the lake.
He probably was pounding beers.
Oh yeah, he was definitely. I'm pretty sure I saw him. I mean, he's
I
having a
love
good time
Darty.
on the pontoon.
Or Darty, yeah, he's the man.
How have you met him through his son? I'm assuming.
Yeah, and every spring training, he's around. I always talk to him. I actually showed the picture, like, hey, I caught this lily outside your dock. He loved it, of course. And
Well, that's great. I guess before we wrap up here, Louie, it's been a great time. But the Twins, obviously, the team that you were a part of. Not saying this is your fault by any means. I think they did have a little bit of a collapse that fans didn't want to see heading into the end of the season. But I guess before we wrap up here, give your do you have any confidence? What words of confidence do you have for the Twins fans? Any words of positivity or anything that we can be looking forward to going into next season?
well, absolutely. It was tough last season, but we're turning the page. Next year, new year, we're gonna start off strong. Everybody's gonna be healthy. We're gonna have like a great roster and everything, and everything's gonna be set. We are looking to win the division again, go deep in playoffs. So like all the goals are the same, and I mean it at this point that like words don't mean much. We just got to go out there and do it now, especially after last season. So, but on behalf of all the Twins, we're all motivated, we're all confident, we're all working towards that goal. So.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but God, that was fucking brutal. I felt so bad. We obviously love to watch you guys, but I couldn't believe it. I can't imagine how tough that is because obviously no one's trying to fucking do that. And then when everyone's just dropping like flies, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, why? Why does this happen to us?
I tell you what, like if it bothered you, I promise you, it bothered us 10 times worse. It just it was a bad feeling not pulling through on that. It really was.
Especially down the stretch, man. Like I couldn't believe like we would be up these games and all of a sudden just shit would hit the fan. I'm like, why? I'm sorry to bring it up. I'm just such a huge homer, dude. Last year when we went to the play, I went to a playoff game and it was so electric. I was like, I've been waiting for this for way too long. Like it's been since high school.
Yeah, dude, I was sitting in the bullpen that first game and seeing Target Field like that packed and cheering for like a strike. Like first strike, everybody goes, "What?" I'm sitting there with goosebumps. I'm like, "What is this? This is insane." Yeah. We're going to get that again this next year. I mean, I'm confident. Absolutely.
I am too. Like I was, like I said, once two of your starters go down, you have a bunch of rookies pitching. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not ideal whatsoever. Yeah. And then you just have to sign a bunch of guys. That's got to be so tough because the room's totally different. You don't have like your leaders out there. What's that like? Is that just like the biggest bummer?
It's not the same, and people have to step up and fill that void. But it's just not the same. There's a lot of moving parts, new faces. You got to like get to know more people more. It's just it's kind of like you said, it's like not ideal, but like you have to roll with the punches and get through it and try to make it work.
Well, yeah, we're hoping that you play well next year, and there's a big reason why we want to also see you play well is that I know our guy Bossman will post this meme on our page.
I don't know if you can get it.
Yeah.
Can you see that?
Can you see that? We'll post that meme when you play well. We'll post that.
Okay.
You look like the baller. That's what you are internally, I should say, symbolizing or encapsulating is the cigarette, the badass on the mound. So we're hoping to tweet that more next year, the meme. So yeah, it's tweeted out every time you do well. So if you do well, just know that meme is coming.
I'll hold you to it.
Well, I should say, do we have full permission from you to post that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. We just want to make sure you're not mad about it. Okay.
No,
Thank you. All right.
It's not me posting it. So
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
No, we love it. But I don't know, Sarge, do you have any final words?
No, man, thanks for coming on, and we're rooting for you, man. I can't wait to watch next season. Hopefully fucking Bally Sports or whoever the hell is going to get...
It's going to be the Twins Network or something now or something.
I just want to be able to watch, for God's sake. I only went to a couple games this year, but not watching was also terrible.
Yeah, I mean, that was also not ideal. But thank you guys for having me on and having this opportunity for me. This is great.
Yeah, no, we've loved having you on. It's awesome, and just know if you do hear someone yelling your name outside of the bullpen next year at the stadium at Target Field, it might be one of us. You might see a guy wearing a hockey helmet.
I'll give you a peep.
Just
I'll give you a look.
just don't be shocked if you see that. That's all I'm saying. So
Okay, no, I'm expecting it now. Honestly, I'll see you out there.
yeah. But again, yeah, Louie again, Louie Varland, Minnesota Twins starting pitcher. Thanks for coming on, man. It was an honor.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Thanks, man.